Imagine you borrow $10,000 from a bank today. You make your payments every month, you stay on schedule, and 5 years later, you've paid back $13,000. You borrowed 10,000, you paid back 13,000. Where did that extra $3,000 go? That's interest, and it's one of the most powerful forces in the entire financial world. It can make you rich over a lifetime or keep you trapped in debt forever. Everything depends on which side of it you're on. At its core, interest is simply the price you pay to borrow money. When a bank lends you money, they're giving up access to that money for a period of time. They take on risk. What if you don't pay it back? And they lose the opportunity to use that money elsewhere. Interest is their compensation for all of that. Think of it like renting money. When you rent a flat, you pay the landlord for using their property. When you borrow money, you pay the lender for using their cash. Interest is rent on money. Interest works in both directions. When you borrow, you pay interest. When you save or invest, you earn interest. The same mechanism that drains money from borrowers builds wealth for savers and investors. This is why understanding interest is so fundamental. You're either collecting it or paying it, often both at the same time. And the difference between the two will define your financial life. There are two types of interest you need to know: simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is straightforward. You deposit $1,000 at 10% simple interest per year. Every year you earn $100. After 5 years, you have $1,500. Clean, linear, predictable. You earn interest only on your original amount, called the principal. Simple interest is mostly used for short-term loans and some bonds. Easy to calculate, no surprises. Now, compound interest is a completely different beast. With compound interest, you earn interest on your interest. You deposit $1,000 at 10% compound interest. After year one, you have $1,100. In year two, you earn 10% not on $1,000, but on $1,100. So you earn $110. Now you have $1,210. Year three, you earn 10% on $1,210, and so on. The amount you earn keeps growing because the base keeps growing. After 30 years at 10% compound interest, your $1,000 becomes over $17,000. You added $1,000. Compound interest added $16,000. That's the power of compounding, and it's why Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. The difference between simple and compound over long periods is staggering. At 10% simple interest, $1,000 over 30 years gives you $4,000. At 10% compound interest, the same $1,000 gives you over $17,000. Same rate, same time, 4 times more money just from compounding. This is why starting to invest early matters so much. The longer compound interest has to work, the more violent the snowball effect becomes. But compound interest isn't always your friend. When it's working against you, on debt, it becomes one of the most destructive financial forces you'll ever face. Credit cards are the most common trap. The average credit card charges around 20% interest per year. If you carry $5,000 of credit card debt and only make minimum payments, you'll be paying it off for over 15 years and pay more in interest than you originally borrowed. The compound interest on that debt grows faster than your small monthly payments can chip away at it. This is why the golden rule of personal finance is pay off high interest debt before you invest. If your credit card charges 20% interest and your investments return 8% per year, you're losing 12% every year you invest instead of paying off the card. Compound interest working against you on 20% debt is far more powerful than compound interest working for you at 8% returns. Eliminate the enemy first. Interest rates aren't just personal, they shape entire economies. Central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the US or the European Central Bank, set something called the base interest rate. This is the rate at which banks borrow money from the central bank. It ripples out to every loan, mortgage, and savings account in the country. When the central bank raises rates, borrowing becomes expensive, people spend less, the economy slows down. When they cut rates, borrowing becomes cheap, people spend more, the economy heats up. Interest rates are the economy's most powerful control dial. You feel this directly. If you have a variable rate mortgage and interest rates rise by 2%, your monthly payment could jump by hundreds of euros or dollars overnight. If rates fall, your payment drops and you have more money in your pocket. Interest rates affect mortgages, car loans, business loans, credit cards, savings accounts, everything. When central banks move rates, the entire financial world shifts. Here's a quick trick before we go. The rule of 72. Divide 72 by your interest rate and you get the number of years it takes to double your money. At 6% interest, 72 divided by 6, your money doubles in 12 years. At 10%, doubles in 7.2 years. At 1% savings account, doubles in 72 years. That's why a 1% savings account is almost useless for building wealth. The rule of 72 makes the power of interest rates instantly visible. Use it whenever you're comparing investments or loans. Interest is everywhere. Every loan, every savings account, every mortgage, every credit card. Interest is quietly running in the background, either building your wealth or draining it. Now you know how it works and which side you want to be on. If this helped, hit like and subscribe.